Let's talk about miniatures. I've been known to do some role-playing. This week, I'll be working on a shrine in the style of Skyrim. In fact, if you're wondering why you don't get as many episodes of Miniature Mashup as you'd like, you can blame the people at Bethesda. I am absolutely stuck on Skyrim right now. Luckily, everything I need to make this project I found at the thrift store. In fact, this episode is a
thrift store jackpot episode.
This week's project is made almost entirely out of items I've purchased at a thrift store. We'll be using a base from this pink plastic castle. Now this castle's out of scale with 28mm. It's also quite fruity, but you could paint this up if you wanted to, but believe me, it would be for gnomes. It's like a kid's playhouse in 28mm scale, but the base from it is quite nice. We'll be using a Virgin Mary figurine from a nativity scene that we purchased at the thrift store. So far, we're up to $1 in cost for this project. If you're worried about the sacrilege of painting the Virgin Mary up as a feature for your dungeon terrain, believe me, you can do much worse.
Mary, Mary, why you bugging?
Now, these Halloween novelty skulls were not found at the thrift store. I did purchase them after Halloween, however, and an entire sack of about 8 of them was only 25 cents. One of my favorite things about these skulls is the way they're packaged like discounted fruit from Kroger. So here's our castle base with the latticed gate already screwed onto it. One of the things I do that I don't think you'll see on a lot of other craft channels is I make a lot of use of machine screws because they're really sturdy and they're dirt cheap. I'm going to scratch up 3 areas on the base because this plastic is super smooth and we're going to try to glue things to it. So I'm just going to mar it with my Dremel tool and I'm using the rotor attachment. We're going to apply some E6000. I'll be using that as opposed to hot glue for this project. As you see, I've got these 3 little areas and we're going to put one of our skull beads on either side of our Virgin Mary statue. We're just going to place that down into the E6000, hold it in place, give it a little time to set. It doesn't take long. It's a really good glue to work with for hobby stuff. When I give this a primer coat, I'll be taking the latticed gate off. I'll be painting that separately. But here it is fully assembled. This is what this is going to look like. It just needs paint. Now you can see I did the latticed gate with a gray primer because we're going to be painting that with wood. And we're just giving it a base coat of brown. And we're going to highlight it with lemonade as we do with all of our wood projects. Now for the rest of the shrine, we're just going to try to simulate stone. So I start with a black primer. I just use a cheap dollar can from the Dollar General. Then we just work up with shades of gray, starting with my darkest gray as a base coat, and then hitting highlights successively with lighter shades of gray. Now, last episode, I asked if people wanted to send in things for me to make episodes on, if you had some junk you wanted to get rid of, some old miniatures and whatnot, and donations have already been pouring in, so there's a lot of stuff. But if you want to hop on board the donation train, just contact me. I'm not hard to get in touch with. On Facebook, you can get to me through my YouTube channel, either way. And those episodes are coming up very shortly. We'll be having more Miniature Mashup, and I'll be featuring the things I have been given. If you are going to pick up some Catholic statuary like this little Virgin Mary nativity figurine, be sure not to buy it online. Get it at a thrift store because this stuff can be quite expensive. If you look at Amazon or eBay, you're not going to find anything for less than $10. It's kind of nuts. But if you go to a thrift store, 50 cents, $1 at the most. And if you can't get a Virgin Mary, there's tons of little creepy statues at your typical thrift store. I'm sure you'll find something that works. Now, there are going to be some highlights on the shrine itself. I am going to do her face in gold. I'm going to try to dry brush some gold on her face. I'm going to do her eyes black, leave them black. I'm going to do the eyelids red. And I'm also going to do a little clasp on her cape. We're going to do that in gold and red as well to sort of look like a gem, encrusted bit of jewelry put into the shrine. Just to break up the stone effect and to make it a little gaudy / creepy. Let's take a look at the finished product and see what that looks like in play.